Okay, so the problem over here is that this on start command is actually running in the main thread. So we don't want that. So what we want is we will say, and we want to run that in a thread which is not the main thread. So we'll run a async task. So what we'll do is we'll have a class my async class my async task extends async task. So if we see that the things which are here is one is params, one is a progress, and one is a result. So params is the parameter that we'll be sending. Progress is the periodic update of the progress that we'll be receiving, and the result is the result that comes out of it. So for now, what we'll do is we'll actually just have void for everything. Okay. So we have these things. Now it actually is complaining. So we'll see why it's complaining. It's saying that we need to implement some methods. So we'll say the method is do in the background. So what we are doing is this is void and this comes over here. Okay. So this is the function which will actually run in the background. We will go there and we'll override some of the other methods. So what we'll do is we'll do on post execute, and we'll go and override another method. We'll say on progress update. Okay, so we'll go from here. Okay, so what we will do is we actually want, instead of this function being executed in the main thread, we want this similar kind of thing to be actually executed inside our background thread. Okay, so what we'll do is in our background thread, we want integers instead of void. So we'll say integer, and since this is an type of integer, we'll write integer over here. Okay, and what we will do is we'll say integer sleep is equal to params, and we'll get the 0th value. Let's actually create private final string tag is equal to my async task dot class dot get name. Okay, so we get the tag over here, and we'll actually write some log statements, and we'll say okay. So we have got all these values. So we get the sleep parameter, and then what we will say is we'll have an integer counter is equal to 0, and then we'll say while counter is less than sleep, we will try to sleep, and we'll sleep for 1 second. And since this will complain, we'll surround it in the try catch. And every time we are running this, we want to tell that yes, we are alive. So we'll use this function called publish progress. And in the publish progress, what we will do is we'll actually publish how much we have progressed. So we will say over here counter is equal to plus CTR. Okay, so dot to string publish progress is counter. Okay, to counter. Now this is complaining because over here we said that our progress was void. So instead of void, we'll say this is a string, And in our progress update, we'll say this is a string. So our published progress is sending a type of string, and this comes in the progress update. And over here in the progress update, what we will do is we'll actually do a toast message. And we'll say toast message, and we'll say values of 0. Okay. So we get this, and let's do a log too. So this is the log, and on post execute is the function where we will log again. Okay, so we have our function. This is the one which will actually run everything in background. Whenever there is any progress, it'll report the progress by a string, and it'll sleep for some time, and then it'll return in the background. Okay, so instead of doing this over here, we will say new my async task dot execute, and we'll pass sleep over here. Okay, so let's now run this and see what happens. So here we are starting our service. The service starts, and we have a counter 0. And oh, okay, I did a mistake. So over here, we actually have not incremented the counter. And we'll run again. So we start this, our counter becomes 0, and then it should be 1, 2, and stuff like that. We can see over here that do in background thread is actually running in an async task. The on progress update is actually running in the main. And after that, when everything is complete, the on post execute runs over here. So earlier what we were doing is, like, once we have done all of that, we'll stop the service, and that'll destroy the service. Now what we want to do is, instead of clicking a new button, we will go over here and we'll say stop self. Okay, so we'll do a stop self over here, and we'll stop, and this should stop the service. And we have a counter, and we can see that we are able to use our checkbox over here. Okay, so this is an example. In this example, what we did is we used a we started a service, and then that service we spawned a new thread which did our background process, and then after the background process was done, it went away. So that is our example. Thank you.